He became the Maldives' first democratically elected president after a campaign of non-violent civil disobedience pressured the nation's longest-serving ruler to allow political pluralism in 2008. His advocacy for human rights and democracy extends to being recognized as an Amnesty International prisoner of conscience. Today, former President Nasheed will speak, I hope, about the Indian Ocean and the Maldives elections and the expeditions of the new government agenda.
Good evening, President Ranil, Wickremesinghe, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It's always a pleasure to be in Sri Lanka and in Colombo. This is, for many of us, our second home. Colombo is the biggest Maldives city outside Malé. So we feel very much at home here. And thank you very much for that. When I speak here tonight, this evening, in front of me, our chief guest is President Ranil Wickremesinghe. Since childhood, I had known the name of His Excellency, and in so many crucial moments in my personal life and my country's personal life, the President has intervened for the better for our country and also for myself. And I thank the President for all those instances. I will not spell them out. We've just had our elections in the Maldives. These elections were characterized by international media as a candidate that had won, a pro-China candidate, apparently won those elections. And apparently the pro-India candidate lost the elections. And then journalists ring me and keep asking me about election results. So I said, but I supported the winning candidate. I this time did not support the incumbent, my friend, but I supported the opposition candidate and he won. And it's very difficult for me to characterize him as pro anything, China or India. I think he is very pro Maldives. And I think our elections would bring our candidates, Maldives candidates, Maldives issues. What should happen to peace and security and prosperity of the people of the Maldives? And I'm sure that whoever comes to government in the Maldives would be that. President Yamin followed a foreign policy that was more tilted towards the east and towards China. But President Solih came in and pursued a foreign policy that was India first. But then again, this India first foreign policy was coined by President Yamin. President Yamin himself coined the phrase India first. But then later on, for whatever reason, some people tell me the reason was me because he arrested me and India backed me and then he didn't like India because of that. And so therefore there was all sorts of disagreements. But he tilted towards China. And then in 2018, we won the election with a more Western-minded foreign policy candidate who was President Solih. And he completed his 5 years. And then when we went into the recent elections, President Yamin was in prison and he was not able to contest. And therefore his party fielded a candidate. And a lot of us assumed that this candidate was against India, which in my mind is a very, very wrong characterization. The president-elect has spoken to President Ranil, and I am hopeful that President Ranil will visit our inauguration. And I am very confident that come the next 5 years, we will be able to pursue a foreign policy that is in line with Sri Lanka, India, and South Asia. In 1441, when General He was outside Malé with 20,000 troops, Vasco da Gama was just rounding the Cape of Good Hope. The Ming dynasty fell, and General He left a whole lot in the Maldives, especially in the island of Kinolas. And they hurriedly left. And then again, we see that they want to come back. And in my mind, we have a society, and I am speaking here. Rishan is running our society. I'm very fortunate to work with President Ranil in this society. And it's called the South Asia Chart Maker, Cartographer. We in the Maldives, we sit in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We are 1,000 miles from north to south. We occupy most of the navigable parts of the Indian Ocean. And there's a map, a 11th century chart drawn by a Maldivian navigator, a Sri Lankan chart, a chart of Sri Lanka. And he thought there was a river that passes through Panadura all the way up to Trinco. So he was kind of thinking Sri Lanka more like with atolls. So he had ocean running throughout Sri Lanka. And now we are again trying to draw a better map of the Indian Ocean. I am sometimes at a loss to find where the Pacific comes here. Indo-Pacific, apparently we are. But that's millions, miles away. We like to focus our attention on our prosperity and on our development and on our betterment. And that lies with stronger democratic countries in South Asia. I think most of our countries will have elections that will go either way. But whichever way they go, we will still remain South Asians. And Sri Lanka would still be our next door neighbor, our biggest neighbor, and India will be our biggest neighbor. And life will continue. I don't think that it benefits any one of us to characterize us as either India or China. We are us. We are together. And I am hopeful that with the Colombo conclave discussions, that we can continue these discussions and see that this region remains peaceful. We are again coming to this situation where there is a superpower rift in the middle of the Indian Ocean. We are sandwiched in the middle. The Maldives certainly is. Sri Lanka, with its bigger population, is able to deal with it better. And in my mind, we will only deal with it with Sri Lanka together. For our new inauguration, I'm hopeful that the Seychelles president would also come, and the Sri Lankan president also would come. And we will have this discussion, where South Asia is for us, Indian Ocean is ours. We live here. It's no one else's. Yes, they can all use it. They can cross it. They can trade with it. They can buy from it. They can do anything with it. But we live here. It's our ocean. And I'm sure it will remain our ocean. Thank you very much.